who's getting the reparations? You know, I hate to break the news to people, but reparations are being given out. A lot of people might not know this. So I'll swipe that away. I don't know if that, but reparations are being given, but to the wrong people. See all these South people coming through the border right now? Coming through South America? These states are what's New York giving them $10,000 credit cards and stuff? And I heard of one thing where they're paying up to 2 years of rent for free. There goes your reparations. Literally. But I heard about that one. 2 years of free rent. I don't know if it was in New York or Chicago or what. Right? Getting free medical care. Getting free food. Free housing. They're literally being housed in 5-star hotels. People that believe that they should get reparations because their ancestors were slaves, you know? Just think about it. Who's getting those reparations right now? People that weren't even born in the United States. So, African Americans should be pretty pissed off seeing people that weren't even born here step foot in the United States for the first time, and they're getting their reparations for no reason. Now, African Americans that believe that they should be getting reparations should be pretty pissed off that you're going to people coming through South America, coming from China, coming from certain countries in Europe, coming from Russia, Iran, everywhere. And they're coming for the reparations. They're getting their piece of the pie. So I was thinking about that. People should be pissed off. That's why I think this election, I think Americans are going to send a message. And when you look down there, you see all these people coming down here from all over the world. Literally from countries in Europe. Russians are coming over here, Iranians, Iraqis, everywhere. Somalians, Ethiopians, everybody's coming over here. These Ethiopians and Somalians, they're not supposed to get reparations, but they're getting it. They're getting free hotels, free breakfast, lunch, and dinner, free clothes. Like I said, and I don't know what state it is or what city, but literally 2 years of free rent. All of that. Where's the reparations of African Americans that are descendants of slaves? You see it right there. All the people getting it from South America, from all over the world, coming through the southern border. So you got to say thank you to Biden. You know, because Biden's the reason, because he can close that border, and he knows he can close that border. Just on a national emergency, you got literally people on a terrorist watch list coming through there. That's enough right there to close the border. But he's not doing it. Why? Because he's hoping to someday to make them voters. Someday they'll become voters. That's all he cares about. Right now, I think in the United States, black Americans are 12% of the population. Guess what? All these South Americans coming through, just do a quick Google search from the census and see what percentage Latinos are right now in the United States. And I'm Latino. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican. My mother and father are Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican, son. And guess what? they're going to water down African American votes. Because right now it's 17% Latino. Last time I checked. 12% African American people of color. Literally 12%. And that number, that 17%, is growing. Next census, I think we're going to see it at 20%. And we don't see the numbers of African Americans growing that much. All right, so that's where the reparations are going. Right now, the United States is $34 trillion in debt. African Americans should be telling the government to stop spending so much money. Because how do you think they're going to pay reparations if the government ever decides to? By that time, what are we going to be, $100 trillion in debt? They're going to say we can't do it. We're too deep in debt. We can't do it. That's what the U.S. government's going to say. And all the politicians, they're going to say we can't do it. We can't give reparations because we're so deep in debt. That's why people should be getting pissed off at how much the government is spending and spending and spending and spending and borrowing and spending. So I'm driving, so this is on my steering wheel. I was thinking about that because every day I see on the news all these people coming through the southern border. That's all they have to do. Literally, you got to wonder, who is footing the bill for these people to come over here? These are people supposedly from the poorest countries in the world. How in the world can they afford to take a trip all the way for hours and hours to the United States? Who's paying for it? You know? Who's paying for it? Who's paying for it? That's what I was thinking about. Who's paying for all this? These coyotes, then they're called, they charge a lot of money. A lot of money. Where are these people getting all that money? They're coming from poor countries. Well, there's some people bankrolling it to get all these people in here, make them become voters. And African American vote, they're not even going to care about it. They're not even going to care about it that much because they're getting a lot of people through that border right now claiming asylum. All these people are not running away from anything. They have court dates 7 years down the road, 10 years down the road. By that time, they're not even going to be asked to leave. They're not going to be deported or anything. They're going to stay right here. Next time there's a Democrat president, Democrat Senate and House, they're gonna make them all citizens. They're gonna make them all citizens. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna make them all citizens so they can vote. Just look at the plan. That's why I wish Democrats would look at what's really going on. They don't see what's really going on because they're looking at CNBC, NBC, CBS, and all of them are not showing this stuff. They're not. Because they're part of it. They're part of it. You know? Because back in the day when I was younger, I'm 50 plus years old. When I was younger, I remember all this craziness that's going on right now just wasn't happening back then, man. All this stuff that, man, I'm 50 plus years old. All right, I remember racism. Being Puerto Rican, being called the slur word for Puerto Ricans. You know, when I was a kid, you know, I remember racism. You know, and then when you're Puerto Rican and if you have white friends, at that time back when, they used to say racist stuff. They wouldn't say it if they had a black friend. They wouldn't say it in front of the black friend, but they thought it was okay when it came, you know, to Hispanics. They would say all their racism. So I remember racism. What you see now, there's not that much fucking racism like back in the fucking day when you got President Biden talking about it's very, a lot more racist than it ever was. That is bull. I honked the horn. I don't know if anybody's looking at me. But if anybody's 50, 60 years old, 70 years old, you guys saw racism. You actually saw racism. And if you remember racism, you don't see that much right now. You don't see that much today. Racism is never going to be completely eliminated. But you don't see racism like back in the day, I'm telling you. And I was born 1969. And I was coming up. I remember fucking racism. And if people are older, they could tell the younger people, you don't know what the fuck racism really is or really was. And you older people, if anybody's watching this video, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. These people talking about everything is racist right now. We saw real racism. I didn't see it like back in the early 60s. Like when I was a kid, I was a kid in the 70s and the 80s, probably more closer to the 80s. I saw that shit, and people that were came up and raised in the 60s and the 50s, they saw real fucking racism. For these people to say this is a racist country, man, y'all full of shit. Full of shit, because I saw racism. These young people now, y'all didn't see much fucking racism. You didn't see real fucking racism. You don't see real fucking racism like we did. Right? Crying racism all the fucking time, man. Today, people crying racism on anything, everything. Math is racist. Everything. Being on time to your job is racist. Doing good in school is racist. SATs, have to take SATs is racist. This is all the fucking bullshit they're feeding. Anyways, the subject of this video is actually, like I said, reparations. African Americans, reparations are going to South Americans that are coming through that border. Y'all should be pissed off and send a message this political season. Send a fucking political message, because these politicians, and I'm gonna say these Democrats, are literally making you irrelevant when it comes to politics and voting. Because your vote, they're not gonna care about. These Democrats are not gonna act like they care, but they're gonna go after the Latino vote, which right now is 17%, and I suspect after 10 million people have come through this border under Biden, that's a lot bigger than 17% now. I would say 20%, or closer to 20%. And as the years go by, that's going to grow more and more. So there's your there's your reparations right now. I'm trying to make my thoughts, but it's not funny. But y'all need to be pissed that the reparations you want, this government is not going to be able to afford it. You see all these, like I said, South Americans coming over here, all over the world. The rents, everything is going to go up because there's going to be more demand for apartments and housing. Then the cities have to raise taxes because cities and states, they're going to have to raise taxes because all these people need free medical care, free Section 8, free housing, free everything. Food stamps, job training, taxes got to go up. You as an American citizen have to pay those taxes for all these, because the Democrats want some extra voters. The Democrats want extra voters. I'm telling you, just look at it. If you know supply and demand, right now they're making some demand for apartments a lot higher, right? In the cities, my house went up on taxes a lot, So as the taxes go up, your landlord's going to raise your rent. Taxes going up for them to support people that weren't even born in this country, and the nefarious things that the Democrats, because they want the votes, you have to pay more property tax, you know, more rent, everything. Because when your landlord's taxes go up, he's going to raise the rent to pay those taxes. You know, everything. There's going to be more demand for food, for everyday necessities. There's going to be a big demand for it. And not only that, but there's more competition for jobs. What does that make? What happens to wages? Wages go down as there's more demand. When you got more workers and not that many jobs, they're going to take the job for less pay. So you're going to be making less pay, paying more taxes, paying more rent, paying more for your food. All of this for the Democrats, because they want to make, what do they call it? They call it to make them voters amnesty. To make them citizen, give them amnesty, and then give them the right to vote. And all that for the Democrats, you're going to be paying higher rent, higher taxes. You might disagree with me or argue with me, but I'm telling you, what do you think happens to there's literally more demand for all this stuff. More demand for health care, more demand for everything. And there'll be jobs in health care because they're gonna need to hire, right now I think they estimate 7 million, 7 or 8 million. Some people say 10 million since Biden's been president have come over that border claiming asylum. And you think they're gonna pay for their health care, or they're gonna get free health care? You gotta pay for your health care? I have to pay for my health care. I have to pay for my mortgage. I have to pay, my taxes went up a lot. My mortgage started at $1,488, and now it's $1,648. Almost $200, and I only bought this house 2 years ago. My taxes have gone up by $200 a month in 2 years. And this is a heavy Democrat city, liberal city. Democrats run this. Connecticut, New Haven also, Democrats run it. It's all run by Democrats. And I live in a city with high taxes, high crime, low services. Even though we pay a shitload of taxes, we had a snowstorm over here a few weeks ago, and literally the plow only plowed the middle of the street and left mounds of snow on the side. For as much taxes as we pay, like I said, it's high crime area. You don't see cops patrolling that much. Plenty of cops, but they'll park in the parking lot, sit right there, talk with each other. Put the car one facing one way, one facing the other, window down. When you pay high taxes, you get low service. And I've seen cities where they pay low taxes and great services. Anyways, it's a shame. Like I said, yeah, reparations are being given, but not to people who are descendants of slaves. Democrats are giving it to future Democrat voters that they hope. They're importing Democrat voters. Don't think they're importing, that they're doing it because that bullshit they say. They'll do jobs that other people don't want to do. That's bullshit, man. If you go around, you see construction workers. I see South Americans doing construction work, carpentry, plumbing, everything, electric. They're making good ass money. And I see a lot of them driving some expensive ass cars, So don't believe the hype when they say, "Oh, who's gonna pick the fruits and vegetables," like Democrats say. That's bullshit, man. I mean, some of them are doing that, but a lot more are doing some good paying jobs, man. That even carpenters or stuff like that, they're losing a lot of jobs to people coming from South America. I heard they had schools over there teaching you how to do carpentry here in America, literally in South America, teach you how to do carpentry, all that stuff over here. Incredible. Anyways, that's it for this video. Comment, subscribe, like this video, and tell me what you think. And just think about it, man. Really, leave your bias out of it. A lot of people have bias. Leave that bias out. Put that bias aside and really think about it. You know, I tell people, man, when you have a bias in your head, you're not able to think straight. Think straight. Prices are going up, everything because of this. And I'm telling you, I'm Latino, and last time I checked, we're 17% of the population. African Americans are only 12, and that 17% is growing. Growing. Anyways, let me let this. I'm out. Peace. Think about it.